The cream-colored envelope held my ex-husband's wedding invitation to the woman he cheated with. On our anniversary, Blake wanted me there. Broken, struggling, proof he upgraded, but he had no idea what I'd been hiding. The billionaire boyfriend, the evidence of his fraud, the private jet waiting to destroy his perfect day. He thought I was still that desperate woman he left with nothing. He was so wrong. If you love comeback stories where the underdog wins, smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss how this unfolds. Trust me, you'll want to hear every word. Let's begin. The envelope was cream-colored, expensive. The kind my ex-husband Blake always said we couldn't afford while he was secretly funneling millions into offshore accounts. My name is Mallory Winters, and this is the story of how I arrived at my ex-husband's wedding in a billionaire's private jet and destroyed his perfect day by simply telling the truth. I stared at that envelope on my kitchen counter for what felt like hours. My cramped studio apartment was silent, too silent. Owen and Ivy were at their father's house for the weekend. My coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but I hadn't moved. The invitation sat there like a living thing, mocking me. I picked it up, put it down, picked it up again. My phone sat beside it. I could call my sister Harper. I could rip the whole thing into pieces and throw it in the trash. Instead, I opened it. Blake Michael Sullivan and Victoria Grace Ashford request the honor of your presence at their wedding ceremony. My hand shook. The heavy cardstock trembled between my fingers. There was a note inside, handwritten. His handwriting. The same handwriting that used to leave me love notes. The same handwriting that signed our divorce papers 4 years ago. Mallory, I know this might be awkward, but I hope you'll come. The kids should see both their parents moving forward. Both of us happy. No hard feelings. Blake, no hard feelings. I read it 3 times. Each time, the words made less sense. No hard feelings about the affair, about the divorce, about taking everything in the settlement while I got $700 a month and weekends with my children. Then I checked the date, June 15th. My breath caught. June 15th, our anniversary. The day we got married 12 years ago. The day I wore my grandmother's veil and promised to love him forever. He had chosen our anniversary for his wedding to someone else. That's when I made the decision. I was going to that wedding. But not the way he expected. Not as the poor, broken ex-wife he thought I was. I was going to show him exactly what he threw away, and I had 18 months of secrets to help me do it. A memory hit me. 4 years ago, almost to the day, Blake had come home from work early. I was in the kitchen. The twins were 4 years old, playing with blocks, building towers and knocking them down, laughing. I had been making dinner, spaghetti, his favorite. He stood in the doorway, loosened his tie, and looked at me with eyes that held nothing. We need to talk, he said. Those 4 words changed everything. I want a divorce. No explanation, no warning, no chance to fix whatever was broken. I remember dropping the wooden spoon. Red sauce splattered on the floor, on my shirt. What? Why, Blake? What are you talking about? I met someone who understands me, someone who gets my ambitions, someone who isn't this. He gestured vaguely at me, at the kitchen, at our life. Someone younger, someone prettier, someone who wasn't exhausted from raising toddlers, who I had whispered, Victoria. Everyone calls her Tori. Victoria, her friend, the woman who had been in their wedding party, the woman who came to their vow renewal 3 years earlier. I shook my head and pushed the memory away, but the memories kept coming in anyway. The divorce proceedings. Blake's lawyer was a shark in a suit. My lawyer was fresh out of law school. Cheap, the only one I could afford. Blake kept everything. The house, the savings, the retirement accounts. His lawyer argued that I had no career, no income, no assets in my name. I had been a stay-at-home mother. That was my choice. I got $700 a month in child support, weekends with the twins, nothing else. The judge barely looked at me when he made the ruling. I opened my eyes. I was still in my kitchen, still holding my cold coffee. 4 years of struggling, 2 jobs that barely covered rent. Food bank visits I hid from the kids. Birthday parties I couldn't afford to throw. 4 years of Blake's mother, Patricia, calling to say things like, if you had taken better care of yourself, maybe he wouldn't have strayed. 4 years of seeing Owen and Ivy every other weekend, of missing bedtimes and school plays and first lost teeth. 4 years of becoming invisible. I picked up my phone and opened my photos. Scrolled back. There, my wedding day. I was 27, white dress, flowers in my hair, smiling so wide it must have hurt. I didn't recognize that woman. That woman had dreams. That woman believed in happy endings. That woman was an idiot. I set the phone down and looked at the invitation again. No hard feelings. Something hot and sharp twisted in my chest. My laptop pinged. Another email from Grayson. I opened it. Mallory, I know you need space. I understand. But I'm here when you're ready. Always. Grayson, kind, patient Grayson. The man I met 18 months ago when I spilled coffee all over his laptop at a coffee shop. The man who laughed instead of getting angry. The man I didn't know was a billionaire tech mogul until our fifth date, when someone recognized him. Grayson, who accepted that I needed to keep our relationship private, that my ex-husband couldn't know, that the twins couldn't meet him yet. Grayson, who never once complained, who never pushed, who just waited. The doorbell rang. I jumped. Cold coffee spilled on the counter. I wasn't expecting anyone. I looked through the peephole. A man in a suit stood there, professional and serious, holding a package marked confidential. My heart hammered. I opened the door. Mallory Winters, he asked. Yes. Sign here, please. I signed. He handed me the package and left without another word. I closed the door, locked it, stared at the package. Heavy. Official looking. No return address. I opened it slowly. Inside were documents, plane tickets, and a handwritten note. You don't have to hide us anymore. Let me be there. Let them see you as I do. You deserve to walk into that room like you own the world. Because you do. Always. Gray. My vision blurred. Beneath the note were legal papers. I flipped through them, my hands shaking. Financial records, bank statements, asset transfers, all with Blake's name on them. Accounts I didn't know existed, money hidden during the divorce, properties in his mother's name, business deals structured to hide income, evidence, clear, undeniable evidence that he had lied. And at the bottom, a note from someone named Mitchell Drake, Blake's business partner, Mrs. Winters. I should have spoken up 4 years ago. I was a coward. I documented everything. I'm sorry it took me this long. This is enough to reopen your case. Mitchell, I sat down hard on the kitchen floor. The papers spread around me. Grayson had been investigating. For how long since we met, he had been building a case. Quietly, without telling me. My phone buzzed. A text from Harper. You okay? Haven't heard from you in a few days. Want to grab lunch? I stared at the message, at the invitation on the counter, at the evidence scattered on the floor. I typed back, can you come over now? I need you. 3 dots appeared immediately. On my way, 15 minutes. I stood up, gathered the papers, put them back in the package, made fresh coffee, strong, the way Harper liked it. Then I picked up the invitation one more time. No hard feelings. For the first time in 4 years. I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. Harper burst through my door 12 minutes later. What happened? Are the kids okay? She stopped, saw my face. What did he do now? I handed her the invitation without a word. Harper read it once, twice. Her face went from concerned to confused to furious. He invited you to his wedding on your anniversary. Yes. That absolute piece of she stopped herself, took a breath. Okay. And the note, no hard feelings. Is he actually insane? I think he genuinely believes that. Of course he does. Garrett Sullivan, the man who can do no wrong. Harper tossed the invitation on the counter. Please tell me you're not going. I don't know. I really don't. Harper studied my face. My sister always could read me. There's something else. What is it? I handed her the package. Harper read through it slowly at first, then faster. Her eyes got wider with each page. Holy hell. He hid all this during the divorce. Apparently. And Julian found it. You're Julian. He's not my Julian. We're not. It's complicated. Uncomplicated for me. I poured us both coffee and sat down at my small kitchen table. The one that wobbled because one leg was shorter than the others. I met him 18 months ago. At that coffee shop on 7th Street, I spilled coffee on his laptop. You told me this part. He laughed. We talked. He was kind, funny, present in a way Blake never was. Harper wrapped her hands around her mug. We started seeing each other. Nothing serious at first, just coffee, then dinner. Then I fell for him, and he fell for you, and he fell for me. But I couldn't tell anyone. Not you, not the kids, nobody. Why? Because if Blake found out I was dating someone, especially someone with money, he would go back to court, try to reduce child support, claim I didn't need it anymore. Harper's jaw clenched. That sounds exactly like something he would do. So we kept it secret, completely secret. No social media, no public appearances, just us, in private. And Grayson was okay with that. He said he understood, that I needed to protect the twins, that he could wait. My voice cracked slightly. He's been waiting 18 months, Harp. And I keep pulling away, keep pushing him back, because I'm terrified. Of what? Of everything. Of him leaving. Of him realizing I'm not worth it. Of him being like Blake. I shook my head. I know that's not fair to Grayson. He's never given me a reason to doubt him. But I can't help it. Harper reached across the table and took my hand. You're not the problem. You know that, right? Blake made you think you were. He spent years tearing you down, making you small, making you think you were lucky he stayed as long as he did. But that was all lies. All of it. I pulled my hand back and stood up, paced to the window. Outside, the world looked normal. People walking dogs, kids riding bikes. He said I wasn't ambitious enough, that I let myself go, that I was boring. He was cheating on you with your friend. His opinion doesn't count. But what if he was right? What if I did let myself go? What if I was boring? I turned to face my sister. I was so focused on the twins, on keeping the house perfect, on being the perfect wife. Maybe I forgot to be interesting. Maybe I forgot to be me. Stop it. Stop what? Stop defending him. Stop making excuses. Stop acting like you deserved what he did. I'm not, you are. You're doing it right now. Harper stood and walked over to me. Listen to me. Blake Sullivan is a liar and a cheat and a fraud. Literally. There's evidence right there on that table. He stole from you. He hid assets. He committed a crime. And you're standing here wondering if you weren't pretty enough for him. My eyes burned. I blinked hard. I look at that woman in our wedding photos, and I don't know her anymore. I don't know where she went. She's still here. She's just been beaten down for so long, she forgot how to stand up. The tears came then, hot and fast, and I angry. Harper pulled me into a hug. I sobbed into her shoulder. 4 years of held-back grief pouring out. I'm so tired. Harp, I'm so tired of struggling, of pretending I'm okay, of acting like I'm fine when I'm drowning. I know. I work 2 jobs, and I still can't afford to buy the kids new shoes. I can't take them on vacation. I can't give them anything. You give them love. That's more than Blake ever gave them. Is it enough? It's everything. We stood there in the middle of my cramped kitchen until my tears slowed. Finally, I pulled back, wiped my face, laughed weakly. I got snot on your shirt. I have 3 kids. I've had worse on my shirts. We sat back down. Harper refilled our coffee. So what are you going to do, she asked. About the invitation. About Grayson. About all of this, and I don't know. And I have 2 choices, right? I can take this evidence to court, drag Blake through hell, get what I'm actually owed. I paused. Or I can show up at that wedding and let him see what he threw away. Let him see that I'm not broken. Those aren't mutually exclusive. You can do both. Why not take the evidence to your lawyer? File the paperwork. And while that's processing, show up at his wedding. On the arm of a billionaire, show him exactly what he lost. That feels petty. Good. Be petty. He deserves petty. He deserves so much worse than petty. I laughed. A real laugh this time. It felt strange. Rusty. Grayson wants to be there. He sent plane tickets. For all of us. Me and the kids. You too. Probably if you want to come. Harper's eyes went wide. Wait, plane tickets. Like plural private plane. His plane. He wants to fly us there. Your boyfriend has a private plane. He's not my boyfriend. Okay, fine. Your boyfriend has a private plane. And you were worried you weren't interesting enough, girl. You were dating a man with a private plane. You won the interesting lottery. Despite everything, I smiled. He wants to meet the twins. Properly. He says we've been hiding long enough. He's right. What if they hate him? What if they love him? That might be worse. Harper shook her head. You can't protect them from everything. You can't protect yourself from everything. Sometimes you have to take the risk. I looked at the invitation again, then at the package of evidence, then at my sister. He invited me because he thinks I'm still broken. He wants Victoria to see me struggling. He wants everyone to see that he upgraded, that he traded up. Then show him he's wrong. How show up looking like $1 million, with a man who actually values you, with your kids who adore you. Show up like you own the damn world, because you do. Mallory, you always did. You just forgot for a while. I stood, walked to the window again, looked out at the street. Somewhere out there, Blake was planning his wedding, probably laughing about the invitation he sent. He had no idea what was coming. Okay, I said quietly. Okay, what? Okay, I'll do it. I'll go. I'll take Grayson. I'll take the kids. And I'll walk into that wedding like I own the place. Harper grinned at Dahmer. That's my sister. But first I need to do something. When I picked up my phone, opened my messages. Found Grayson's name. I typed carefully. I'm ready. Let's do this. All of it. No more hiding. I hit send before I could change my mind. The response came back in less than a minute. I was hoping you'd say that. When can I see you? I smiled. A real smile this time. Tonight, come on. Come over tonight, and it's time you met my sister. And soon, my kids. I'll be there. 7 o'clock. Harper read over my shoulder. Tonight, you're introducing him tonight. No more waiting. No more hiding. If I'm going to do this, I'm doing it all the way. Good. About damn time. We cleaned up the kitchen together, put the evidence away safely, hung the invitation on the fridge with a magnet, a reminder, a challenge. As Harper was leaving, she turned back. Mallory, yeah, I'm proud of you. You know that, right? For surviving, for fighting back, for remembering who you are. Harper left. The door clicked shut behind her. I stood in my quiet apartment, alone again. But this time the silence felt different. Not empty, not suffocating, purposeful, calm. The invitation was still on the fridge. June 15th, 2 months away, 2 months to prepare, to plan, to transform, 2 months for Blake to think he won, and then I would show him exactly how wrong he was. 7 o'clock came faster than I expected. I spent the afternoon cleaning, not because the apartment was dirty, but because when everything felt out of control, cleaning helped. I scrubbed the bathroom, vacuumed the living room, organized the twins' closet. Red shirt, blue shirt, fold, stack, repeat. The repetitive motion calmed my racing thoughts. At 6:45, I checked myself in the mirror. Jeans, soft sweater, hair down, minimal makeup. Normal. I didn't feel normal. My phone buzzed. Grayson, parking now, be right up. My heart jumped. I pressed a hand to my chest. Breathed. This was Grayson. Kind Grayson. Patient Grayson. There was nothing to be nervous about. The doorbell rang. I opened it. He stood there in casual clothes. Dark jeans, simple shirt. He could have been anyone, except for his eyes. Those eyes that saw me. Hi, he said softly. Hi. We stood there, awkward, like teenagers. He held up a bottle of wine. I brought this. I hope that's okay. I wasn't sure what I pulled him inside. Kissed him hard. He dropped the wine, caught her, kissed her back. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. Hi, I said again. He laughed. That warm, genuine laugh that made my chest ache. Hi yourself. We retrieved the wine bottle, miraculously unbroken. Went to the kitchen. I poured us each a glass. My hands shook slightly. You're nervous, Grayson observed. Yes, don't be. It's just me. That's why I'm nervous. Because this is real now, not just us sneaking around, not just secret dinners and private moments. This is real. Harper knows. Soon the kids will know. Soon everyone will know. And that scares you, terrifies me. He set down his wine, took my hands. Mallory, look at me. I did. Those eyes. I'm not him. I know. You're afraid I'll turn into him, that I'll leave, that I'll hurt you. But I won't. I'm not Blake. You say that now. I'll say it every day for the rest of my life if that's what you need to hear. I wanted to believe him. He said he loved me too. On our wedding day, at our vow renewal, every anniversary, he said all the right words. And then he left anyway. I know. So how do I trust that you won't do the same? Grayson was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something I didn't expect. You don't, not yet. Trust isn't given. It's earned. And I haven't earned yours yet. But I will. Every single day. One day at a time. Until you believe me. My throat tightened. What if that takes years? Then it takes years. What if I'm too broken? What if I can't ever trust anyone again? Then we'll figure that out together. But you're not broken. Mallory, you're hurt. There's a difference. The tears came again. I was so tired of crying. He pulled me into his arms, let me cry into his chest. Didn't try to fix it, just held me. When I finally pulled back, I laughed weakly. I'm getting your shirt wet. I have other shirts. This is becoming a pattern. First coffee on your laptop, now tears on your shirt. I'm destructive. You're perfect. I'm really not. To me, you are. I looked up at him. This man, this kind, patient, impossible man. You investigated Blake. You got evidence. You built a whole case without telling me. He had the grace to look embarrassed. I did. I'm sorry. I should have asked first. Why didn't you? Because I knew you'd tell me not to. That you'd say you didn't want to cause trouble. That you'd protect him even though he doesn't deserve it. So I did it anyway. That's pretty arrogant. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I'm not mad. I paused. I'm grateful and terrified and confused because you're everything Blake said I didn't deserve. Successful, generous, and you treat me like I'm the extraordinary one. That terrifies me. Why? Because what if you figure out I'm not? What if you realize Blake was right, that I'm boring and ordinary and not worth the effort? Grayson cupped my face in his hands. Mallory, listen to me very carefully. You are not boring. You are not ordinary. You survived 4 years of hell and came out the other side still kind, still caring, still fighting for your kids. That's extraordinary. That's heroic. I don't feel heroic. Heroes rarely do. The doorbell rang again. I jumped. That's Harper. Should I hide? No. No more hiding. Remember I let my sister in. Harper took one look at us and grinned. Am I interrupting? Yes, I said. Good. I wanted to meet the mysterious billionaire boyfriend. Grayson extended his hand. Grayson Bennett. Nice to meet you. Harper shook it, studied him, then looked at me. Okay, I approve. You can't approve after 30 seconds, and watch me. He has kind eyes. He made you smile. That's more than Blake did in 10 years. Approved. Grayson laughed. That's the fastest character assessment I've ever received. I'm efficient. Harper poured herself wine. So, the wedding? What's the plan? We sat around my wobbling kitchen table. Planning. I think we should go. All of us. Grayson said, you, Mallory. The kids, Harper. You too, if you want. Oh, I definitely want. Wouldn't miss this for the world. But we need to be smart about it. Grayson continued. Blake doesn't know about me, about us. So when we show up, it needs to be impactful. Impactful how I asked. Private jet. That's step one. We arrive in style. Make a statement before we even walk through the door. Harper grinned. I like how you think. But that's not the main event. Grayson said. He pulled out his phone, showed us something. You want to show this to Victoria's family during the wedding, not during, after, during the reception, discreetly. Her father deserves to know what he's investing in. Victoria's family is rich, Harper asked. Very. And Blake's business is failing. He's been embezzling, hiding losses. Her family's about to invest $1 million based on false projections. If we don't say something, they'll lose everything. I shook my head slowly. So this isn't about revenge. This is about protecting them. Partly, but mostly it's about the truth. Blake's been lying to everyone. To you, to Victoria, to her family, to his business partners. Someone needs to stop him. Who else knows about the evidence? Mitchell Drake, Blake's business partner. He's the one who documented everything. He wants to help. He feels guilty for not speaking up during your divorce. I remember Mitchell. He always seemed nice, uncomfortable around Blake sometimes. He was, he is, he wants to make this right. We talked for hours, made plans, revised plans. By the time Harper left, it was past midnight. Grayson stood to leave too. Stay, I said quietly. He looked at me. Are you sure? No, but stay anyway. He stayed. We lay in my small bed, not touching, just being. Tell me about the first time you saw me, I said into the darkness. The coffee shop, ma'am. You rushed in, hair everywhere, bag falling off your shoulder. You ordered a large coffee, black, no sugar. The barista said something, and you laughed. A real laugh, not polite, just genuine. And I thought, yeah, I want to know that person, the person who laughs like that. Then I spilled coffee all over your laptop. Best coffee spill of my life. I turned to face him. Why me? You could have anyone, models, actresses, CEOs. Why a broke single mom in a coffee shop? Because you're real. Because when I talk to you, I'm not Grayson Bennett, billionaire tech mogul. I'm just Grayson, just me. And you like me anyway. I do like you. That's the problem. How is that a problem? Because liking you means trusting you, and trusting you means risking everything. And I don't know if I can survive being broken again. He rolled to face me. Then don't think about forever. Just think about now. Right now. Are you okay right now? Yes. Then that's enough. We'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. I kissed him. Soft, gentle, full of promise and fear and hope. When we fell asleep, I dreamed of weddings, of cream-colored invitations, of walking into a room full of people who expected me to be small, and of walking in tall instead. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur. I filed the paperwork, took the evidence to my lawyer, started the process to reopen my divorce case. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Paige Montgomery, looked through everything with widening eyes. This is substantial. This is really substantial. Where did you get this, a friend? Some friend. This is enough to not only reopen your case, but potentially press criminal charges. Do you want to pursue that? I thought about it. About Blake in handcuffs. In court. In prison. I thought I'd want that. But sitting in Paige's office, I realized something. I didn't care what happened to Blake. Not anymore. I just wanted what was owed to me. Let's start with reopening the case. Get a fair settlement. We can discuss criminal charges later. Paige nodded. Smart, one step at a time. How long will this take? Months. Maybe a year. These things move slowly, especially when the other party is going to fight. And Blake will fight. This makes him look bad. Really bad. Good. Paige smiled. I like you. Let's destroy him. I left the office feeling lighter, stronger. I had taken the first step, the hardest step. Now came the second part. Grayson wanted to meet the twins properly. The thought terrified me. I talked to them carefully, sat them down after dinner one night. They were 9 now, old enough to understand. Mom, you're making your serious face. Ivy said, are we in trouble? No, oh, baby. No trouble, could you? I just need to talk to you about something. Owen put down his tablet. Is it about Dad? No. Well, sort of, but mostly about me. Okay. They look concerned. I have a friend, a good friend, someone I've been seeing for a while, and he wants to meet you, if that's okay. Silence. Then Owen asked the question I'd been dreading. Is he your boyfriend? Because Dad says you'll never find anyone as good as him. The words hit like a slap. I kept my face neutral, calm. Your dad said that, yeah. He said you're too, I don't know. He used words I didn't understand. But he said no one would want to date you. Ivy nodded. He said you didn't take care of yourself. That's why he left. Because you got lazy. My hands clenched in my lap, under the table where they couldn't see. I wanted to scream, to rage. Instead, I breathed. Your dad is wrong. I didn't get lazy. I was taking care of you too. And that was hard work. Really hard work. Harder than any job I've ever had. We know that, Ivy said quickly. We know you work hard. And as for my friend, his name is Grayson. He's kind, he's funny, and yes, he's someone special to me. But I need you to know something. Always. Something really important. They waited. No one will ever replace your dad. He's your father. That doesn't change. But I'm allowed to be happy too. I'm allowed to have someone in my life who cares about me. Is that okay? Owen looked at Ivy. Some silent twin communication. Finally, Pierre, Owen said. Does he make you smile? Yes, real smiles, and not the fake ones you do when Dad talks about Victoria. My heart broke. They noticed. Of course they noticed. Real smiles. Then I guess it's okay. Ivy nodded. When do we meet him? This weekend? Saturday. We'll go to the park. Get ice cream. Just hang out. No pressure. If you don't like him, we'll figure it out. But I hope you give him a chance. Okay, they said together. That night, after they were asleep, I called Harper. He told them I was lazy, that I let myself go, that no one would want me. That absolute Harper stopped herself, took a breath. He said that to his 9-year-old children. Apparently, Mallory, you need to document this. Tell your lawyer. This is parental alienation. You could use this. I know, I will. But right now, I just needed to tell someone. Because if I don't say it out loud, I'm going to scream. Then scream, I'll wait. So I screamed into a pillow, loud and long and furious. When I was done, Harper said calmly, feel better, little. Good. Now listen, Grayson meeting the kids this weekend is huge. It's the right move, but you need to prepare yourself. For them to love him. Because if they love him and he leaves, it'll break them. It'll break you. So you need to be sure, really sure that he's in this for real. I am sure, too. Are you? Because 2 weeks ago, you were ready to keep hiding forever. I was quiet. I'm terrified. Every single day. I wake up expecting him to realize I'm not worth it, that he's made a mistake, that he could do better. Those are Blake's words in your head, not the truth. How do I tell the difference anymore? By looking at evidence? Has Grayson ever made you feel small? No. Has he ever criticized you? Put you down? Made you feel less than? No. Has he pushed you? Rushed you? Demanded things you weren't ready for? No. He's been nothing but patient. Then trust that. Trust the evidence in front of you, not the ghost in your head. Saturday came too quickly. I changed outfits 4 times. Nothing felt right. Finally, I settled on jeans and a soft blue shirt. Simple, comfortable. Grayson picked us up at 10 in the morning. He drove a normal car, not flashy, just a regular SUV. The twins climbed into the back seat. Suspicious. Guarded. Hi, Grayson said. I'm Grayson. It's really nice to meet you both. Silence. Then Ivy asked, how much money do you have, Ivy? I turned around. You can't ask people that. Why not? I want to know. Grayson laughed. Real laugh. Not uncomfortable, just amused. That's a fair question. I have more money than I need and less than I want. That's not an answer. Owen pointed out, you're right, it's not. The real answer is complicated. But the simple answer is enough to be comfortable, enough to help people I care about. Not enough to solve every problem in the world, but enough to make a difference. Owen considered this. Are you trying to buy us because Dad's girlfriend does that? She buys us stuff and thinks that makes us like her. I'm not trying to buy you. I'm trying to get to know you, and I hope you'll get to know me. If you don't like me, that's okay. But I hope you'll give me a chance. They went to the park. Not a fancy park, just a regular neighborhood park and with swings and slides. Grayson pushed Ivy on the swings, played basketball with Owen, sat with me on a bench and didn't try to hold my hand in front of them. He was giving them space, time, room to adjust. After an hour, Ivy ran over. Grayson, can you push me higher? My chest tightened. Ivy had called him by name, not Mom's friend. Grayson Baum. At lunch, they got pizza, the kids' favorite place. Nothing special. But they were laughing, talking, acting normal. Owen told Grayson about his math class, about how he loved patterns and numbers. Ivy told him about her art project, about the dragon she was drawing that could breathe different colored fire depending on its mood. Grayson listened, really listened, asked questions, remembered details. When they got back to the apartment, the twins ran inside to play. Grayson and I stood by his car. They're amazing, he said. They liked you? I like them. What if they get attached? What if he kissed me, cut off my spiraling thoughts? I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm all in. Stop waiting for me to leave. I'm trying. Try harder. I laughed, kissed him back. Okay, I'll try harder. That night, after Grayson left, Ivy climbed into my bed. Mom, yeah, baby, I like Grayson. He's nice. I'm glad. Is he going to be around a lot? Would that be okay? Ivy thought about it. Yeah, I think so. He's not trying to be dad. He's just Grayson. That's okay. I held my daughter close, breathed in her shampoo smell. Strawberry. I love you. Emmy. Love you too. Mom. Owen came to me the next morning while Ivy was watching TV. Mom, can I ask you something? Always. Are you going to marry Grayson? I don't know. We haven't talked about that. Why? Because if you do, does that mean we have to call him dad? No, baby. Never. You already have a dad. Grayson would just be Grayson, an adult who cares about you, but not your dad. Never your dad. Unless you wanted that. Owen nodded, relieved. Okay, because dad's kind of mean sometimes, but he's still dad. I don't want a new one. You don't have to have a new one, but Grayson's okay. He actually listened when I talked about math. Dad always zones out. I noticed that. So yeah, he can stick around. I hugged him. My serious, thoughtful boy. I love you. Ev, love you too. 2 weeks later, Blake called. I stared at his name on my phone. I hadn't spoken to him in 6 weeks. He never called unless something was wrong. I answered. Hello, Mallory. Hi. Sorry to bother you. His voice was smooth, confident, fake. What do you need? Blake, I just wanted to check in about the wedding. Make sure you're still planning to come. Victoria has been asking. I'm coming. Great. That's great. And just, I know our money's tight. The invitation says formal wear. But if you need to wear something simpler, that's totally fine. No one will judge. My blood boiled, slowly, steadily. I'll be appropriately dressed. Of course, I wasn't suggesting, I just meant I know what you meant. Blake, silence on his end. Well, okay then. See you on the 15th. See you then. I hung up, grabbed my phone, texted Harper. He just called to tell me it's okay if I can't afford a nice dress. Harper's response was immediate. Oh, he's going to regret that. Then I texted Grayson. Are you sure about this? About all of it, his response came quickly. I've never been more sure of anything. Even the jet. Especially the jet. I smiled, put my phone down, looked at the calendar, counted the days. 4 weeks until the wedding and 4 weeks until Blake Sullivan learned the biggest lesson of his life. 2 weeks before the wedding, everything changed. I was at work. My morning job, doing data entry from home. My phone rang. The school. My heart stopped. School never called unless something was wrong. Miss Winters, this is Principal Morrison. I'm calling about Owen. Is he hurt? No, nothing like that. But we had an incident today at lunch. Could you come in? I was there in 20 minutes. Owen sat in the principal's office. His lip was bleeding. His knuckles were scraped. Another boy sat across from him, crying. What happened? I asked. Principal Morrison sighed. There was a fight. Owen hit Tyler. Owen doesn't hit people. I know. That's why I called you instead of suspending him outright. But he did hit Tyler. Hard. Tyler's nose might be broken. I looked at my son, my quiet, gentle son who organized his toys by color. Why I asked him directly. Owen looked at the floor. He said something. What did he say? He said you were a gold digger, that you were dating a rich guy for his money, that everyone knows you're broke and desperate, and you're probably... He stopped. I can't say the rest. It's bad words. The other boy's mother burst into tears. Tyler, why would you say that? Tyler sniffled. Dad said it. Last night. He said Blake Sullivan's ex-wife was dating some billionaire now, and everyone knows she's just after his money. He said it at dinner. I just repeated it. The room went silent. My vision tunneled. Who's your father, Mark Richardson? He works with Mr. Sullivan. Of course he did. Of course Blake had told everyone. I knelt in front of Owen, took his face in my hands. You defended me. He was lying about you. I know, but we don't hit people, even when they lie. But no, I know you were angry. I know you wanted to protect me, but violence isn't the answer. Tears filled Owen's eyes. I'm sorry. I know you are. I hugged him, held him tight, but you have to apologize to Tyler and accept whatever punishment Principal Morrison decides. They worked it out. Owen apologized. Tyler apologized. Both boys got detention. In the car, Owen was quiet. How did Dad find out? He finally asked. About Grayson? I don't know. I thought we were being careful. Are you mad at you? No, never. At the situation, very. When they got home, Ivy was already there. Harper had picked her up. What happened? Harper asked. Why does Owen look like he went 3 rounds with a boxer? He defended my honor. With his fists. Harper looked at Owen. My man, Harp, don't encourage him. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm commending the sentiment. That night, after the twins were in bed, I called Grayson. Blake knows. About us. How, I don't know. But he's telling people. I'm a gold digger. That I'm using you for money. Grayson was quiet for a moment. Does that bother you, what he's saying? Yeah. No. I don't know. It bothers me that Owen got into a fight over it. That people are talking about us. About me. Mallory. People are going to talk. No matter what. If you're with me, they'll say you're after money. If you're alone, they'll say you're bitter and pathetic. If you date someone poor, they'll say you have no ambition. You can't win. So stop playing their game. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. The only opinion that matters is yours, and your kids, and maybe your sister. Everyone else can think whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't feel like enough. Then what would be enough? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I want him to see, not just that I'm with you, but that I'm okay, that I survived, that I'm stronger without him. Then that's what will show him. The next day will say, Blake called. I let it go to voicemail. Mallory, we need to talk. I heard you're seeing someone. I think that's great. Really, I'm happy for you. But I need to know if this is serious. Because if it is, we need to discuss how this affects the kids, and the custody arrangement, and the child support. Call me back. I deleted it, called my lawyer instead. He's fishing. Paige said, he wants to know if he can reduce payments now that you're dating someone with money. Can he not unless you're married? Dating doesn't change anything legally. But he'll try. Men like Blake always try. What do? Ignore him, Musto. Don't engage. Let him stew. And when we go to court with our evidence, we'll bury him. I hung up. Felt a tiny bit better. The week before the wedding was chaos. Harper took me shopping. We're doing this right, she said. No arguments. The dress was emerald green. The color Blake always said made me look washed out. It was stunning. Oh, hell yes, Harper said when I walked out of the dressing room. That's the one. It's too expensive. It's perfect. And Grayson already paid for it. What, when last week? He called me, told me to take you shopping, said to get whatever you wanted. His treat. I can't accept yes. You can. Stop fighting it. Let someone take care of you for once. I looked at myself in the mirror, at the woman staring back at me. She looked confident, strong, beautiful. She looked like someone who belonged. For the first time in 4 years, I recognized myself. Okay, I'll take it. Grayson came over that night, brought pizza, played video games with Owen, looked at Ivy's art portfolio. Every single dragon drawing. You're really talented, he told her seriously. You think so, I know so. Have you ever thought about taking an art class like a real one? With a teacher, Mom says they're too expensive. Grayson looked at me. What if I knew someone who teaches art to kids who might be willing to take on a student, Grayson? You don't have to. I'm not doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because Ivy is talented and deserves to develop that talent. Ivy's eyes went wide. Really, you do that if it's okay with your mom? My throat was tight. It's okay with me. Ivy threw her arms around Grayson's neck. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And over her head, Grayson met my eyes. This is real. His look said, stop waiting for it to fall apart. Later, after the kids were asleep, we sat on the couch, not touching, just close. You're good with them. I said, they're easy to be good with. Owen got in a fight because someone said I was using you. I heard you. You are not upset. Why would I be upset? He defended someone he loves. That's admirable. He hit another kid, and he got detention. He learned. That's what matters. Grayson shifted to face me. Mallory, I need to tell you something. My stomach dropped. What I'm all in, completely, with you, with the kids, all of it. I know you're waiting for me to run, but I'm not going to. So you need to decide. Are you all in too? Or are we going to keep doing this dance where you push me away every time we get close? I'm scared. I know. What if this doesn't work? What if it does? We sat there in my small apartment with my worn furniture and my leaky sink, and Grayson looked around like it was a palace. I love this place, he said. It's tiny, and it's falling apart. It's where you built a life, where you raised your kids alone, where you survived. It's incredible. I kissed him, slow, deep, full of fear and hope and possibility. I'm all in. I whispered against his mouth. I'm terrified, but I'm all in. That's all I needed to hear. The phone rang. Blake, again. I ignored it. Grayson smiled. Good choice. He's going to keep calling. Let him. You have nothing to say to him. 2 days later, Patricia Sullivan called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Hello, Mallory. It's Patricia. Blake's mother. We need to talk. I don't think we have anything to... It's important. Please, I'm asking, not telling. Please, there was something in her voice that made me pause. Okay, where? That Italian place on 5th Street. Tomorrow, noon. Please come. She hung up before I could argue. I stared at my phone. Called Harper. Blake's mother wants to meet me. That woman who spent 10 years making your life hell. That Patricia. Yes. Why, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I'm coming with you. Harp, you don't have to. I'm coming. Non-negotiable. If she tries something, I'm there. End of discussion. So the next day, they went together. Patricia was already there, sitting in a corner booth. She looked older than I remembered. Tired, sad. Thank you for coming, Patricia said as we sat down. What do you want? Harper asked bluntly. Patricia looked at me, really looked at me. I owe you an apology, a massive apology, for everything. I blinked. What I was horrible to you. For years. I pushed Blake toward Victoria. I thought she was better, wealthier family, better connections. I thought I was helping my son. I was wrong, so wrong. Why are you telling me this? Patricia's hand shook as she reached for her water glass. Because Blake's business is failing. Has been for 2 years. Victoria's family money is the only thing keeping it afloat. The wedding is essentially a business merger, and he's lying to them about everything. Harper leaned forward. How do you know this? Mitchell told me. Blake's business partner. He's been documenting everything. He feels guilty, wants to make it right. Why now? I asked. Patricia met my eyes because I watched what my son did to you. And now I'm watching him do it to someone else. And I'm tired. So tired of protecting him from the consequences of his choices. She reached into her purse, pulled out a folder. This is everything. More than what you already have. Bank statements, text messages, emails, proof of every lie he told during your divorce. I took the folder, hand shaking. Why are you giving this to me? Because you deserve better. You deserve so much better than what I helped him do to you. And I can't fix the past, but maybe I can help the future. They sat there in that restaurant, The woman who had made me feel worthless was now handing me the keys to justice. I don't know what to say. I admitted. Say you'll use it. Say you'll stop him. Say you won't let him do to Victoria what he did to you. I looked at Harper. My sister nodded. I'll use it. All of it. Patricia nodded. Stood to leave. Patricia, I called. She turned. Are you coming to the wedding? I have to. I'm his mother. But I won't be celebrating. She paused. I hope you walk into that room like you own it. Because you do. You always did. You just forgot for a while. She left. Harper and I sat in silence. That was unexpected. Harper finally said, I don't even know what that was. Redemption. Maybe? Or guilt? Or both. I opened the folder, flipped through page after page of evidence. This is everything. This is more than enough. So what are you going to do? I closed the folder, looked at my sister. I'm going to that wedding. I'm walking in with Grayson and my kids. And I'm going to show everyone exactly who Mallory Winters is now. Hell yes. We high-fived over pasta. For the first time in 4 years, I felt like I was winning. The morning of June 15th arrived too quickly. I woke up at 5, couldn't sleep, too much adrenaline. I made coffee, sat at my kitchen table, looked at the invitation one last time. June 15th, our anniversary. No hard feelings. I laughed. Actually laughed. Blake had no idea what feelings I had. None, because he'd never bothered to ask. Harper arrived at 8, carrying coffee and pastries in an overnight bag. Okay, she said, we're doing this. Full glam, hair, makeup, nails, everything. Harp, that's too much. Nothing is too much for today. Today you show him what he lost. Today you walk in like a queen. I feel more like a court jester. Then fake it till you make it. By the time we're done, you'll believe it. They spent the morning transforming. Hair styled, makeup perfect, nails painted a deep red. When Harper was done, I looked in the mirror. I almost didn't recognize myself. I looked powerful, confident, beautiful. Holy hell. Harper breathed. You look incredible. I look like someone else. You look like yourself. The yourself you forgot existed. The twins came home from their sleepover with Harper's kids. They stopped in the doorway. Mom, Ivy said, you look like a princess. You look pretty. Owen agreed shyly. Thank you, babies. Now go get ready. We have a wedding to attend. They scrambled to their rooms. Harper helped me into the emerald dress, zipped it up. I turned, looked at myself. The woman in the mirror was unrecognizable and completely familiar all at once. You ready? Harper asked. No, but I'm doing it anyway. That's my girl. Grayson arrived at 1 o'clock in a suit, looking like he belonged on a magazine cover. He stopped when he saw me, just stared. What? I asked nervously. Is it too much? You're stunning. Absolutely stunning. The twins came out, Ivy in a pale blue dress, Owen in a little suit. Grayson knelt down. You two look amazing. You look good too. Ivy said, thanks. Grayson, Owen added. They piled into the SUV, drove to the private airport. The twins had never been to an airport like this. Small, exclusive, where the wealthy kept their planes. Whoa, Owen breathed. A plane? A real plane, Ivy squealed. Grayson's pilot met them. Friendly, professional. The jet was smaller than I expected, but luxurious. Leather seats, polished wood. The twins explored every inch, pressed every button, asked a million questions. I sat by the window, watched the ground fall away as they took off. You okay? Grayson asked quietly. Ask me after. Fair enough. During the flight, Harper made them all laugh with stories, kept the mood light, but my stomach was in knots. In 2 hours, I would walk into Blake's wedding. In 2 hours, everything would change. Mitchell texted Grayson mid-flight. Confirmed. I'm at the venue. Have the evidence ready. We'll approach Sterling Whitmore during the reception. It was all set. No turning back now. The jet landed. SUVs were waiting. Black, sleek, expensive. The twins were giddy. This is the coolest thing ever. Ivy said, wait till Dad sees us. Owen added. My heart clenched. This wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about truth, about justice, about protecting Victoria from the same fate. They drove to the venue, an estate outside the city, rolling lawns, white tents, flowers everywhere. The kind of wedding Blake always said we couldn't afford. Here we go. Harper said, here we go. I echoed. The SUVs pulled up to the entrance. Other guests were arriving in regular cars. They all turned, stared. The doors opened. Grayson stepped out first. Then he helped me out. I stood, emerald dress catching the afternoon light, hair perfect, head high. Harper followed. Then the twins. Ivy waved at someone she recognized. Evan stood close to me. Whispers spread like wildfire. Is that Mallory Winters? Who's the man with her? Is that Grayson Bennett? The Grayson Bennett, did she just arrive in a private jet? I walked forward, one foot in front of the other. Grayson's hand was light on my back, steadying me. The wedding planner rushed over, flustered, panicked. I'm sorry, there seems to be some confusion. Are you on the guest list? I smiled. Cool, calm. Mallory Winters. +4. The planner checked her tablet, rechecked. Blake only listed Mallory. Not guests, not children. There's no space at the assigned table. I'm not sure where Grayson spoke for the first time. His voice was quiet, but it carried authority. I'm sure we can work something out. The planner's eyes went wide. She recognized him. Of course she did. Yes, yes, of course. I'll figure something out. Please, this way. They followed her into chaos. The reception area was stunning. White flowers everywhere, crystal chandeliers hanging from tent ceilings, tables set with gold-rimmed china. Everything was perfect. Expensive. Exactly what Blake always wanted. Guests turned to stare as they entered. The whispers grew louder. Patricia Sullivan saw them from across the lawn. She went pale. Then she smiled. Actually smiled. She walked over. Slowly. Deliberately. Mallory, you look beautiful. I blinked. Thank you, Patricia. Patricia looked at the twins. Hello, Owen, Ivy. You both look wonderful. Hi, Grandma, they said quietly. Then Patricia looked at Grayson, extended her hand. You must be Grayson Bennett. I've heard a great deal about you. Grayson shook her hand. All good things, I hope. Patricia's smile was sad. Better than he deserves to hear. She looked back at me. I'm glad you came. She walked away before I could respond. Harper leaned in. Did Blake's mother just compliment you? I think she did. The world has officially turned upside down. They found their seats. The planner had scrambled, put them at a table near the back, out of the way, but everyone could still see them. I sat, breathed, looked around. The ceremony was about to begin. Guests filed to their seats. Blake appeared, walking toward the altar. Tuxedo, tanned, hair perfectly styled. He looked confident, happy, like a man who had everything. He glanced toward the back, saw them. His face went through several emotions in rapid succession. Shock, confusion, anger, calculation. His eyes locked on Grayson. Recognition dawned. I watched him process it, watched him realize. I smiled, just slightly. Blake's jaw clenched. He looked away, continued to the altar, but his composure was cracked. I could see it. Music started, the bridal march. Everyone stood. Victoria appeared, beautiful, young. Her dress probably cost more than my car. She walked down the aisle, smiling, radiant. I felt a pang of something. Not jealousy, pity. This poor girl had no idea what she was marrying. The ceremony proceeded, traditional, boring. The officiant droned on about love and commitment and forever. I watched Blake's face. He kept glancing back at me, at Grayson, at the twins. He was distracted, uncomfortable. Good. Vows were exchanged. Blake's voice shook slightly. He stumbled over the words. Do you, Blake Michael Sullivan, take this woman I do? Blake interrupted, too quickly, too eager to be done. Victoria looked at him, concerned. The officiant continued. Do you, Victoria Grace Ashford? I do, Victoria said softly. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. They kissed. Briefly, awkwardly. The guests applauded. I clapped politely. The twins fidgeted beside me. It's almost over. I whispered to them, "Can we go home soon?" Owen asked. "Soon, baby, soon." The ceremony ended. Guests moved to the reception area. Cocktail hour. Music. Laughter. Champagne flowing. I stood with Grayson. Harper hovered nearby. The twins got sparkling cider and cookies. People approached. Curious. Bold. "Mallory, is that you?" "Oh my God, you look amazing." "Thank you." "And who is this handsome man?" "This is Grayson." "Grayson, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name." "Susan? We met at the Christmas party 5 years ago, right?" Susan's eyes were hungry, taking in every detail. The dress, the jewelry, Grayson's obvious wealth. "So how do you two know each other?" Grayson answered smoothly. "We met at a coffee shop. She spilled coffee on my laptop." Susan laughed. Too loud. How charming it was. Grayson agreed. "Best day of my life." He said it like he meant it. Because he did. Susan made excuses. Scurried away. Probably to tell everyone what she'd learned. That happened 6 more times. Different people. Same questions. Same hungry eyes. I handled it. Smiled. Made small talk. Played the part. But inside, I was counting minutes. Blake approached during cocktail hour. Alone, Victoria was taking photos with her family. "Mallory, you came." His eyes flicked to Grayson. "To the children." "I didn't know you were bringing guests. You said the children should see both parents moving forward. This is their future." "I wanted them to see it." Blake's jaw clenched. "And who is this?" Grayson extended his hand. "Grayson Bennett. Pleasure to meet you." Blake recognized the name. Everyone did. His face went through several emotions. How long he started? 18 months, I said calmly. The children met him last week. Blake looked like he'd been slapped. "I see." His voice was tight. "And you thought bringing him to my wedding was appropriate? You invited me. You said no hard feelings. I took you at your word." Blake opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "We need to talk. About the custody arrangement. About child support. About not here," I said firmly. "Not today. Today is your wedding day. Enjoy it." I walked away, left him standing there. Grayson followed, the twins trailing behind. "That was amazing," Harper whispered. "You just shut him down." "I'm shaking." I admitted. "You didn't show it. That's what matters." They found their table, sat down, waited for dinner to be served. Mitchell Drake approached. Mid-40s, kind eyes, nervous demeanor. "Mrs. Winters, it's good to see you." "Mitchell, thank you for coming." He shook Grayson's hand. "Mr. Bennett, thank you for everything." "Just Grayson, and thank you for your courage. What you're doing isn't easy." Mitchell looked around, made sure no one was listening. "Victoria's father is here, Sterling Whitmore. I'll approach him after dinner, show him everything. Let him make his own decision. Be careful." I said, "Bo, Blake's suspicious. Patricia warned me. I will be. But this needs to happen. He needs to know what he's investing in, what his daughter is marrying." Mitchell left, melted back into the crowd. I watched Blake across the room. He was talking to Victoria, gesturing toward our table. Victoria looked confused, concerned. "She thinks I'm here to cause trouble," I said quietly. "Aren't you?" Harper asked. "No, I'm here to tell the truth. There's a difference." Dinner was served. Fancy. Multi-course. The kind of meal that cost hundreds of dollars per person. I picked at my food. My stomach was too tight to eat. The twins ate everything. Kids were resilient that way. Speeches began. Victoria's father stood first. Sterling Whitmore. Successful. Powerful. He talked about his daughter. About how proud he was. About how he welcomed Blake into the family. About how he looked forward to their business partnership. I watched Blake relax slightly. Smile. Nod. He thought he'd won. Blake's mother stood next. Patricia looked tired. She gave a short speech. Perfunctory. Nothing warm. "When families join, we hope for the best," she said. "We hope for honesty, for integrity, for truth." She looked directly at me as she said it. The message was clear. Then came the best man. One of Blake's work friends. He told jokes, made everyone laugh, talked about Blake like he was the greatest guy in the world. I wanted to vomit. Finally, the speeches ended. Music started. Dancing began. Blake and Victoria took the floor. Their first dance. They moved stiffly, awkwardly, like two people who didn't quite fit together. I watched, felt nothing. The grief was gone. The anger was gone. Just peace. I turned to Grayson. Dance with me. Always. They stood, walked to the dance floor. Other couples joined. The space filled. Grayson pulled me close. They swayed to some generic wedding song. Are you glad you came? He asked. Yes, but not for the reason I thought. Why then? Because I needed to see that he's just a man, not the monster I made him in my head, not the god I tried to please, just a man making bad choices. Grayson smiled. You're incredible. You know that I'm working on believing it. Work faster. I laughed, actually laughed. Across the dance floor, Victoria was watching them. Her face was unreadable. Then their eyes met, woman to woman. Recognition passed between them. They both knew what Blake was, but only one of them could still escape. I looked away first. Mitchell made his move 20 minutes later. I saw him approach Sterling Whitmore, saw him gesture to a quiet corner, saw Sterling follow. They disappeared into a side room. My heart pounded. This was it. Grayson squeezed my hand. It's going to be okay. 30 minutes passed, 45. I danced with Owen, then Ivy, then Harper. Grayson kept the twins entertained, told them stories, made them laugh. He was good with them. Natural. Like he'd been doing it for years. Finally, Sterling emerged. His face was stone. He went directly to Victoria, pulled her aside. Blake watched, confused, then worried. They talked. Sterling showed Victoria something on his phone. Her face went pale. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see the devastation. Victoria looked at Blake, then at her father, then back at Blake. She shook her head, said something sharp, turned away. Blake tried to follow. Sterling blocked him. The two men talked. Sterling's body language was rigid, angry. Blake's face went from confused to panicked. 10 minutes later, Sterling made an announcement. Excuse me, everyone. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's been a family emergency. We need to leave. The reception will continue, but the bride and her family must go. Gasps, confused murmurs. Victoria walked past Blake without looking at him. Her face was blank. Shock, betrayal, devastation. Blake tried to follow. Sterling blocked him again, whispered something. Blake went white. The Whitmore family left en masse. Quickly, the reception continued, but the energy was gone, awkward, confused. Guests whispered, speculated. What happened? Did they have a fight? Is the marriage already over? Blake stood alone in the middle of his reception, surrounded by people and utterly isolated. Patricia went to him. He shook her off. I gathered the twins. Time to leave. They've been perfect. Ready to go home. Harper grabbed their things. As they walked toward the exit, Blake intercepted them. What did you do? He hissed. I stopped, looked at him, really looked at him. I told the truth. That's all. You ruined it at my wedding. No, you ruined your wedding. You've been lying to everyone. To me, to Victoria, to yourself. I just stopped covering for you. He looked at Grayson. You think he's better than me? Grayson spoke calmly. I think she deserves someone who sees her value, whether that's me or anyone else. Blake's face crumbled. I made a mistake with you. I see that now. I felt something shift. Layer 7 transformation complete. I know, but that's your burden to carry. Not mine. Not anymore. But Mallory, we're done. Blake, we've been done for 4 years. I'm just finally accepting it. I walked away, Grayson and the twins beside me, Harper trailing. They didn't look back. The twins chattered all the way to the airport, about the plane, about the cake they'd eaten, about how pretty Victoria looked before she left crying. Kids saw everything. I was quiet on the flight home, processing everything. You okay, Grayson asked softly. I am. I really am. On the plane. Ivy fell asleep on Grayson's shoulder. Owen held my hand, his head resting against my arm. Mom, Owen said quietly, eyes half closed. Yeah, baby, did we do something bad to Dad? No, we told the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's still better than a lie. Is Dad gonna be mad at us? Maybe. For a while, but that's not your fault. That's his choice. Owen nodded slowly, seemed satisfied. I love you. Mom, I love you too. Ev, he drifted off to sleep. Back at my apartment, I tucked the twins into bed. They fell asleep immediately, exhausted from the day. Harper gave me a long hug at the door. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. Thank you for everything, for always being there. That's what sisters do. Now get some rest. You earned it. Harper left. Grayson stayed. We sat on the couch in my small apartment. The quiet felt different now. Not empty, not suffocating, just peaceful. How do you feel, he asked. Tired, relieved, free. Free is good. Free is everything. I turned to face him. Thank you for believing in me, for waiting, for being patient when I was terrified. You don't have to thank me for that. Yes, I do. Because you could have walked away anytime. You could have decided I was too complicated, too broken. But you stayed. You're worth staying for. I kissed him, slow, deep, full of gratitude and love and hope. Stay tonight, I asked. I was hoping you'd say that. We lay in bed later, not sleeping, just existing in the comfortable silence. What happens now? I asked into the darkness. Whatever you want. We take it one day at a time. No pressure, no expectations, just us. I like the sound of that. Me too. I fell asleep in his arms. For the first time in years, I didn't have nightmares. I dreamed of open doors, of sunlight streaming through windows, of hands held without fear. I dreamed of freedom. The next morning, my phone rang early. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello, Mrs. Winters. This is Victoria Ashford. Or I guess just Victoria now. I sat up carefully, trying not to wake Grayson. Hi. I'm sorry to bother you. I got your number from Blake's phone. I hope that's okay. It's fine. Are you okay? Victoria laughed, but there was no humor in it, not even a little bit. But I wanted to call, to say thank you. Thank you for telling the truth. My father showed me everything. The financial fraud, the hidden assets, the lies, all of it. I had no idea. I'm sorry you had to find out like that. At your wedding. Better than finding out 5 years from now. After I'd wasted more of my life. After we had kids. She paused, and I heard her breath catch. You tried to warn me, didn't you? 4 years ago. When Blake and I started seeing each other, I did. I didn't want to hear it. I know. I thought you were just bitter, jealous. I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize to me. Yes, I do. I was horrible to you. I helped destroy your marriage. I knew he was married. I didn't care. I thought I was special, that he loved me in a way he didn't love you. And now you know the truth. Now I know the truth. Her voice broke. He doesn't love anyone. Not really. He just uses people. And when they stop being useful, he moves on. I'm sorry. Victoria, I really am. Me too. Her voice broke completely then. I have to go. My father's lawyers are handling the annulment. But I wanted you to know. You saved me from making the same mistakes you did. Thank you. She hung up before I could respond. Grayson emerged from the bedroom. Everything okay? That was Victoria. She called to say thank you for ruining her wedding, for saving her from her marriage. He sat beside me, close enough that our shoulders touched. How do you feel about that? Good? Relieved. All of it. She deserves better than what I got. I leaned against him, breathed in the familiar scent of him. Is it wrong that I don't feel triumphant? I thought watching Blake lose everything would feel bigger somehow. It's not wrong. Oh, I go. It means you're not like him. You don't find joy in other people's pain. I spent so long wanting him to hurt the way he hurt me. But now that it's happened, I just feel empty about it. Like it doesn't matter anymore. That's called healing. Mallory. The weeks that followed were surreal, like waking up from a long nightmare. The divorce settlement moved forward. Paige called with updates that got progressively better. He's not fighting anymore, she said. His lawyers are advising him to settle. The evidence is too damaging. How long until it's finalized? 6 weeks, maybe 8. But Mallory, you won. Completely. The twins adjusted better than I expected. Blake was different with them now. Owen reported, quieter. He actually asked about my math homework. That's good. Baby, Ivy was less forgiving. He's sad all the time now, she said. It's kind of awkward. Give him time, I told her. People can change. Sometimes they need to lose everything first. Grayson became a constant presence, not invasive, not trying to replace anyone, just there, steady, real. He taught Owen coding on Saturday mornings, took Ivy to her art classes, made terrible pancakes on Sundays that we all pretended to love. One evening, about 6 weeks after the wedding, we were having dinner together. Can we tell you something, Ivy asked, looking at Owen. He nodded. We talked about it. Owen said, and we decided, if you and Grayson get married, we'd be okay with it. My fork clattered against my plate. Oh, wow, that's good to know. We're not saying you have to, Ivy added quickly, but if you want to, it's okay with us. Grayson caught my eye across the table. There was a question there, but not pressure. Well, I said carefully, that's something Grayson and I would need to talk about, if we ever get to that point. But thank you. That means a lot. Later, after the kids were in bed, we sat together. That was unexpected. He said, the marriage endorsement from my 9-year-olds. He laughed. Yeah, that part. Is that something you want eventually? Eventually. Yes. When you're ready, if you're ever ready. No rush. I might never be ready. Then we'll figure that out when we get there. I kissed him then, soft and slow and full of all the words I couldn't quite say yet. 3 months after the wedding, I got the call from Paige. It's done, so you're fine. The settlement was finalized. Check your bank account. I did. The number made me dizzy. $23.7 million. I sat down hard on my couch. What do I do with it? Whatever you want. But my advice, take some time. Don't make any big decisions right away. After we hung up, I called Harper. She screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. Harper was right about one thing. I could help other women like me. I started researching how to start a nonprofit, what services were most needed. By the time Grayson arrived that evening, I had a notebook full of ideas. The settlement came through. I said, I know. Congratulations. I want to start a nonprofit to help women going through difficult divorces, legal aid, financial counseling, all of it. He smiled wide. That's perfect. That's so perfectly you. I called it Phoenix House for rising from the ashes. We opened 4 months later with 3 staff members and 2 volunteer lawyers. The first woman who walked through our doors was named Sarah, 32, 2 kids, husband who'd fled the state. She sat in my office and cried, I don't know what to do. I can't afford a lawyer. I'm going to lose my kids. I handed her tissues. You're not going to lose your kids. We're going to help you. Why, she asked. Why would you help me? Because someone should have helped me. And no one did. So now I help women like us. The work was exhausting, emotionally draining, but also healing. By the end of the first year, we'd helped 47 women. 1 year after Blake's wedding, Grayson proposed. Not with a grand gesture, just the 2 of us, on my balcony. After the kids had gone to bed, I want to spend my life with you. If you'll have me. No rush. Take all the time you need. I looked at him. This patient, kind, impossible man, asked me again in 6 months. I said, his face didn't fall. He just smiled, okay? 6 months later, he asked again. I said yes. We got married at City Hall on a Thursday afternoon. Just us, Harper, the twins, and a judge. No white dress, no flowers, no cream-colored invitations. Just us, choosing each other, on purpose. Afterward, we got pizza. This feels right, I said. Better than a country club, so much better. That evening, Grayson and I sat on our couch. How does it feel being married again? Different. Better. Like I chose it this time. Like I'm here because I want to be. Not because I'm supposed to be. That's all I ever wanted. For you to choose me. I choose you. Every day. For the rest of my life. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It was from Blake. I heard you got married. Congratulations. You deserve to be happy. I'm sorry it took me so long to see that. I showed it to Grayson. How do you feel about that? Indifferent. Mostly. His journey isn't my responsibility anymore. I deleted the text. Some chapters needed to close completely. Years passed. Phoenix House expanded. We'd helped over 200 women rebuild their lives. Owen graduated with honors. Ivy's artwork was featured in galleries. They were thriving. Harper opened her own business. Patricia volunteered at Phoenix House, atoning for her past. One evening, 5 years after that cream-colored invitation arrived, I stood in my kitchen, my real kitchen, in my real house. Grayson was cooking. The twins were home for the weekend. I could hear them laughing in the living room. The sound filled the house with life. I thought about the woman I'd been, the one who believed she was worthless because one man said so. I thought about the cream-colored invitation that changed everything. No hard feelings. It had said, and standing there surrounded by love and laughter and the life I'd built, I realized something. He was right. I had no hard feelings. Not because he deserved forgiveness, not because what he did was okay, but because carrying hatred is heavy, and I'd put that weight down long ago. I was free. And that freedom, that peace, that knowledge that I was enough, had always been enough. That was worth more than any revenge could ever be. Grayson looked up and caught me staring. What are you thinking about everything? Nothing. How far I've come? We've come, he corrected gently. No, I came this far. You walk beside me. There's a difference. He smiled. Fair enough. I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of me too. And I was. For the first time in my life, I was genuinely, completely proud of who I'd become. Not someone's wife. Not someone's ex. Not someone's victim. Just me, Mallory Winters Bennett, survivor, fighter, builder of second chances. And that was more than enough. That was everything.
Mr.